Hey there, Aries. Welcome to a reading for June 2023. We are just going to jump right in here, Aries, and we are going to see what is going on for you. You have this springtime card. It says things are beginning to bloom, new beginnings, rebirth, new growth, and it says the answer lies in newness. You also have this wintertime. It says frozen in time, and it says a need for constructive seclusion. So for some of you, I actually feel with the death card would literally represent kind of like a rebirth. So, which would represent the springtime. The springtime is a time of rebirth in life. And here you are showing up in a very strong position. So whenever you show up as yourself, puts you in a position of power and strength. And look at this. You have this Phoenix card as well. So clearly there's like a pretty significant rebirth. And you have the sun. The sun, guess what? The sun represents the rebirth. The sun rises, which represents the rebirth. So, clearly there's a significant rebirth happening in your life. I feel like you're feeling good again is like literally what I feel like saying. And, this is a good thing. I also, it just popped into my head as well. You have this thief card here. I would definitely be careful if you have a person in your life who you see as toxic as well, Aries. It might be time to block that person or whatever, especially if it's like a past person. But I'm not even getting that. For some of you, I feel like it's just people in your life who always have something to say about what you're doing. And I know that's like ambiguous, but, again, I feel like sometimes maybe we have people in life who have an opinion about like every single little move that we make. And, sometimes that can be toxic. So, I would be careful of that. But you have the death card, you have that Phoenix Rising card. The death card is very similar. Traditionally, the death card is Scorpio, and traditionally Scorpio was the Phoenix. It was not the Scorpion, and, which just represents rebirth. So for a lot of you, I feel there's some sort of rebirth going on here. We're going to have to dig in to see like where this rebirth is happening or, what's going on here, or whatever the case may be. But I feel like you've been through, just like a Phoenix, Phoenix has to catch on fire and, go through the death before it can be reborn. So I feel like you've caught on fire already. You've been through some challenges, and now you're like coming out the other side. Even the Magician here can represent a new beginning. So I feel like there is like a happy, significant new beginning coming into your life here. It's like you're creating new abundance, new things. I see a lot of abundance here as well, but it's like the beginning of abundance because you have the Sun, the Page of Pentacles. So it's like you're kind of that Page of Pentacles would be the start of something, some sort of new abundance is what I'm trying to spit out here. But I also feel like you're developing new skills is what I'm getting on that Magician. So it's like if you're developing any new skills in like work or business or whatever, I feel like these could be very successful for you. And here you are, the Emperor. So you're definitely bossing up at this time. I really do feel this is just your energy. I feel like you're coming up in a very strong position. You end with the Chariot. I mean, you have so much like victory here, freedom as well. You go from the Sun to the Four Wands to the Chariot. The Four Wands is a card of marriage, but it's really a card of freedom. It's a card of being set free. It's a card of like completing one stage. Normally there's that garland or whatever you want to call it hanging between the two wands and the two wands, and then those people are celebrating on the other side. And it kind of represents being set free or, something setting you free in your life. And that's kind of like what I feel like is going on here. With the Santa Muerte card, you have the Emperor. I think that this is just simply saying that you are clearly the one that is going through the rebirth. I think it's just saying that you, Aries, is making this change. With the Magician, you have the Lovers here. I do feel like you could be attracting, like if you want love, I wouldn't necessarily call this a love reading, but, to me, this is more about some sort of rebirth that we're trying to figure out here what's going on, like some sort of change you're making. But I do feel that you could be attracting like a magician type person, someone who really manifests their own reality. Could definitely be a Gemini, could also just be a person who has a lot of Gemini in their chart or something like that. I'm getting with the Lovers, so they might be like a Gemini rising or Gemini moon or something along those lines. And it's 10-10 as I say that, so there you go. But definitely a very solid connection if you're attracting love. The other thing is, quite simply, the Lovers can just represent a new path or picking a new path. And we see a lot of that here. You even have this, there was some sort of new path card showing up here. Maybe one of these said it. I don't know. I'm not going to waste a bunch of time looking for it. Oh, it was the springtime card. It says the answer lies in newness. With the Emperor, you have the Tower. I definitely feel you have been through a tower because, I feel like there's something that you have seen as toxic. Remember, I was just kind of talking about this a minute ago. It could be like family, or just someone who keeps you stuck that's the best way I could describe the feeling I get. It's like, sometimes we maybe want to start a business, or maybe we want to move or something. And maybe you have a person in your life who's like, that's stupid, or that's a bad idea, or whatever. It's like, we've all had that. Or we have a person who maybe gives us like one of those like, backhanded compliments, basically, where it's like it's kind of a compliment, but there's usually a but after it. Like they followed up with but, some XYZ or whatever. So if you have a person like that, I feel like you need to realize that person is a dummy. They might not be a bad person. They might just, be negative, or, whatever the case may be. And I kind of feel like some of you, the tower moment you have is, or you have had, because I feel like you've already had this tower moment, is the fact that you have listened or allowed other people to control your reality. And it's like you're taking back control here. Next, you have this family and heritage. It's time to get back in touch with your loved ones you have been away from. I feel like some of you are actually the opposite. Again, I read intuitively, and I'm getting that you could be moving away from family, like I already said, or this could have to do with, again, if there's like a specific person here that causes problems, you might be moving away. You have this Phoenix rising. It says, you've been through the fire and rising up anew and embrace life in a deeper way. So I feel like you are definitely being reborn here. You're being seen as very powerful, and again, whenever this happens, you're gonna have people who don't like you. It just is what it is. You have the sun, which really tells me you're getting a lot of attention. If you have like a platform or anything like that, Aries, again, you could have a lot of people who are like hating or whatever, but I feel like you need to take this as a sign that you're actually getting closer to success. The secret is that we want to be more polarizing. We don't want everyone to like us. It's like people where you're just sitting on a fence and everybody likes you, then actually nobody likes you because you're just sitting on a fence. You don't have an opinion. You just come off as like a snail or a slug or something like that, right? And that's popping into my head with the sun. It's like, it's almost as if you are becoming like more polarizing. And I don't mean that like in a negative way. I just think you're just kind of having a backbone, having an opinion. This could be on social media. It could be in your personal life. Maybe you're sticking up to a person in your life and you're saying like, hey, no, I know more than you. Yeah, like I think this happens a lot to people when they reach a certain age and they want to like go off on their own, like, maybe it's 30 or whatever age you want to call it, right? Where there can be these moments where our parents say things to us, but we actually know more, but we look at them as our parents. So we're like, oh, they're our parents, they know more, but they actually don't. Not a criticism against our parents, but it's like sometimes I think there comes a point in everybody's life where it's like you have to cut the cord and you have to say, we're talking about the umbilical cord here that attaches you to your parents. And it's time for you to say, no, I have to live my own life and make my own decisions. They don't know what's best for me right now because it's my life. It's my journey, right? And I feel like a lot of you, that could be part of this. I keep getting this word polarized in my head where it's like you could be making a decision that goes against other people. But again, this isn't like a bad thing. I think this is more about growth and, becoming your own person. You have the Four of Pentacles here. Again, letting go of the past, letting go of things that hold you back. Four of Pentacles also kind of sometimes says to me that you're coming into alignment. Normally, the guy has a pentacle over his head. He's got one over his heart. And it kind of says when your head and your heart become one, you can move mountains. So I feel for a lot of you that you're coming into this alignment where it's like your head and your heart are aligning on the things that you want to accomplish in your life. And here you go. You have the Ace of Swords. You have two cards of victory here, Ace of Swords and the Chariot. So there's clearly a big victory coming in for you at this time. There's also some sort of truth here. Again, I feel some of you are admitting the truth to yourself that again, maybe a person doesn't want the best for you. But again, for some of you, I don't think it's that dramatic. I think you're just seeing the moments where they are projecting their own fears on you or something like that. For others, it's also interesting because I do get something about like past love here where you could be seeing how toxic a past person was. And, I don't think it's not like this is saying to me you're going back to the past. It's just saying that you could be seeing the toxic nature of a person. It's allowing you to avoid it in the future. So, that's kind of like more what I get there. Let's see here. With the Sun, you have the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands says don't give up. And Nine of Wands also is my card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So it's like my card of experimentation. I think everybody needs to experiment more right now because that will lead to the most success. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Chariot. Chariot twice. Chariot. Amazing. Definitely a victory. Going this way, it's kind of saying to me that this way is the way to success. Usually in tarot readings, we kind of have the diagonals here. You could even say here as well. But it looks to me like this right here is you overcoming something because of the Strength card. The Strength card is like overcoming your own inner voice, your inner demons, your inner critic, whatever, whatever says you can't do this, right? Like those inner voice type things. And it looks to me like you could be overcoming your inner voice. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Knight of Cups here. Again, I feel like there definitely could be love coming in for you. Doesn't seem like a majority love reading, but, I do feel if you want it, it's here. It could be any sign. Gemini stands out to me. Could be a water sign. You have Chariot, could be a Cancer, could be any water sign. You have Scorpio right here as well. You have like Scorpio twice, kind of. So it could be any sign. But, what I would say here is, if this could be like a knight in shining armor that's coming in for you. Next, in the area of the unexpected, you have this Distant Horizon card and you have this Thief card. Again, with this Thief card, that's really where I get that you've been dealing with people who, like, do you kind of feel like they have stolen things from you? Yes, maybe you feel like you listen to people and they stole your time, right? That's kind of like the feeling I get here. But again, I feel like you should be more focused on the future with this Distant Horizon card. One thing I will say is there are a couple things in the astrology that do make me a little bit worried about like thievery. So I said it in another reading like a week ago or something where I said, like I wouldn't be, parking your car and just leaving your laptop out in the wide open on your back seat, right? It's like I would just, I wouldn't be paranoid, but I just like wouldn't make things obvious. I wouldn't like try to get stolen from, right? Make sure you're locking your door, and all that other good stuff. Like I would just follow the typical rules and I think you'll be fine. But, don't make it obvious is what I'm trying to say. You have the Page of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, and the Strength card. I do feel that there could be an unexpected message coming in for you here with the Page of Pentacles. It could be that someone is interested in you. Obviously, you have the Four of Wands. So if you're looking for love, I feel like there could be a very giving person coming in for you. You could, take it how it resonates because you could also be the one who wants to deliver the message. And I feel like it's going to be very well received. So, if you're worried, like, oh, is this person interested? Like if you work with a person or something, I feel like this is saying, yes, they're interested. So, don't be afraid to ask. The other thing I'm getting is that there is like an increase in your abundance, but again, I think it's coming through maybe taking bigger risks in business. It could also be through completing something because you have the Four of Wands here. So it's like sometimes we complete something and we move on to the next thing. I kind of get, I think I said this to Taurus maybe, and if you have Taurus in your chart, I would definitely watch that reading if this is true. Maybe I'll check it and I'll leave it in the comments because I'm pretty sure it was Taurus that I said this to, that it was almost like, it's like sometimes I think people are afraid to make a change. They're afraid to let go of something that's working. But what they don't realize is they've gained a bunch of knowledge. It's almost as if, like, if I were to quit this channel and start another one, like, I'm not going to do that. Don't worry. But it's like a new channel, I would probably be able to get it to be successful very, very quickly because I've already had a successful channel. But, like, I think most people, it's like they do things they hate that they don't want to do, and they're afraid to make the change, And it's like, no, you actually have everything you need. I kind of feel that here where it's like saying you have all the knowledge and wisdom. You've been through it already. You know what you know. And so I feel like it's saying don't be afraid to like start something or try something new. You have the Strength card. So I feel like you've been patient. You've been waiting. I also feel like people are starting to see your strength as well. Like I kind of have this like message of getting recognized, but you have the Sun here. It's like if you just have displayed your knowledge in work, for example, or you've done extra work, it's almost like maybe a boss could finally be, appreciating you or giving you a raise or promotion or something like that for, your hard work. So again, I feel like some of you could be getting recognized with this energy. But let's see here. With the Page of Pentacles, you have the Hangman. You have all three water signs now, so definitely could be a water sign that you're interested in. Take it how it resonates. Again, if you hate water signs, I get it. I am a water sign, but, it could be any sign. It's a general reading. But I also feel that this could be saying that you're gaining some enlightenment because the Sun represents enlightenment. The Hangman also represents enlightenment. And it's like you could be getting some answers in life that are leading to a new journey with this Knight of Wands. So, if you feel inspired by anything, I would move in that direction. With the Four of Wands, you have the Page of Pentacles. Definitely could be a person you marry if you're attracting love at this time. But also the Page of Pentacles could just be like a new opportunity. And we see this here this going this way, the Four Wands to the Chariot, it's like clearly some sort of new opportunity could be very successful for you. If you're, by the way, I'm getting something here as well about like going back to school or something. If you are going back to school, this right here is really, really good. The Page of Pentacles is a card of studiousness and, learning. And you have the Page of Pentacles twice with the Hierophant. So I see something about like school or learning could be very successful for you. With the Strength card, you have the Queen of Cups. Definitely could be water sign. You have the Knight of Cups, Queen of Cups right here. This could also be you needing to trust your intuition. I do feel like your intuition is trying to guide you towards like something new. And, again, don't be afraid to make those changes. Like I was saying, I'm not suggesting you're just going to like up and leave something behind, but, don't be afraid to change something in your life. Next in the area of the good stuff, you have this excessively giving card. It says not standing in your value and receiving what you're truly worth. Again, I feel like some of you need to like ask for more money in work or business, especially. Same thing in love. If like you're in a relationship where you're just giving and not getting anything back, then that's not getting value. So make sure you're getting value. This is the good stuff. It's going to be good no matter what. So again, I do feel like you could be getting into something that's very balanced. You have this beating a dead horse. It says, don't know when to walk away when something is clearly not working. Basically, the whole reading that I talked about. But again, this is coming up in the good stuff. So I kind of feel like some of you are not beating a dead horse. You're actually walking away from a dead horse that you've probably been beating for a long time. And you're like moving on to something new, something better. We see that right here with the Knight of Wands, the Hierophant, and the Chariot. I kind of feel like if you've been working on something that just isn't working, or if you've been working on something that is working less and less and less, like maybe you're getting less and less results out of your business or your career or a relationship, you have that Thief card. So maybe something isn't literally stealing from you, but maybe energetically, right? Something could be stealing from you. I feel like this is saying you're kind of going on this new adventure. You have the Hierophant. You've learned enough. Again, Hierophant is a card of mastery, kind of represents initiation, apprenticeship, and mastery. Those are the 3 stages on the Hierophant. And so I feel for a lot of you, you could be kind of like stepping into a new stage of life. You could be, making some sort of improvement or leveling up in some way. And I really feel that here, especially with the Chariot. Obviously the Chariot can represent a victory or a win. So I do feel there are a lot of like big wins coming in for you. I do feel there are a lot of victories coming in for you as well. I also feel like some of you could be moving. Again, moving has come up for you quite a bit, Aries, in your reading. So it wouldn't surprise me. Also wouldn't surprise me if you were just traveling just to travel. It wouldn't surprise me if you traveled and found love, or if you were traveling for love here, just based off of everything that's going on. But let's see. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Seven of Swords. I would be careful of this past person. Some of you are seeing someone completely different. It's so weird. It's like one of those things where it's almost like, it's almost like you've broken a spell. It's almost like you saw a person one way, and it's like all of a sudden you snapped out of it. It's like all of a sudden, you see things differently. I'll just tell you, like, I was in a relationship for like a few years, and like, I'll tell you what, it's like one day I just woke up all of a sudden, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? And literally blocked a person that day, right? And they were just super toxic, and I found out about all these lies that they told anyway, like once I did it. And I'm not saying this to like air my dirty laundry or anything, but I'm saying this because it's like, it's like I would have never, I'm convinced that if I didn't block, I wouldn't have learned about the lies and the BS and all that other stuff, because it's like I was settling for it in the first place, right? So it's like, I feel that for you. Sometimes I think we have to basically show the universe that we're serious and that we deserve something better. Like once we do it, everything is revealed. And I kind of feel that for you, where if you feel like you've been with a person who is toxic or a liar or whatever, it's like once you block, it's like all the truths will come out. Or it's not even like that it's the truth that's being revealed, but it's like, it's like, I think that's when we truly heal as well, when we do that, because it's like we're demanding our value, and we're also sticking up for ourselves by protecting ourselves from someone who's super toxic, right? And I feel that for some of you, it could be with someone who's like super toxic or was toxic or has a bunch of lies. And it's like, once you do that, once you make the final cut, it's like, that's where the leveling up happens, which we see right here. With the Hierophant. And even, the Phoenix, it's like, this is really giving me the vibes that you've been burned by something, could be a person for some of you. And it's like, again, doing that, it's like the act of sticking up for yourself is the thing that is going to lead to you reaching this level of mastery. Look, with the Hierophant, you have the Star, which is like a wish or a dream come true. The Star also represents healing from a tower moment. Yeah, so like very similar. to what I experienced is what I would say here, Aries. That's what I'm telling you. And you have the tower right here, and so it's like you're healing from this tower moment that you had in the past. It could be with a person. For others, again, it could just be like maybe you did something where you settled. Like maybe your family doesn't want you to move away or something like that, so you didn't. But it's like now by doing it, you're leveling yourself up. I really feel this reading is saying like level yourself up. With the Chariot, you have the Five of Cups. Yeah, someone will have regrets watching you walk away. The Chariot, he has that city behind him, and he's leaving that city. The city represents where he has always been, and leaving the city is like setting himself apart. So again, I feel like some of you could be walking away from a person who's just like everyone else. And, it's like, don't you want a unique situation, especially nowadays? If you're out here running around on these streets, like dating is like a freaking war zone. It's like crazy out here, right? So it's like one of those things where it's like if you want something unique and different that's better than what exists, you have to do things differently. And, I kind of get that in the Chariot, especially if you're looking for love. I feel like there could be something much better coming in for you, especially by sticking up for yourself, and saying like, no, I'm not going to tolerate this. But again, not to toot my own horn, but I almost have like very similar feelings to how I felt. It's like all of a sudden, I was like, what the hell am I doing? It's like all of a sudden the blinders came off. All of a sudden, I saw things clearly, and I kind of feel that for you here, where, especially with a person, that could be happening. But let's see, we're going to pull 5 main themes for you now. You have this acquisition card. Here you go. Definitely could be a Taurus. It's funny that I mentioned the Taurus reading. I feel like some of you could be attracting a Taurus or someone with a lot of earth in their chart or something. This card is like my fancy couple card. You can see these two here on this card, so, there could be like a good person coming in for you here. You have this riches card. Definitely you are very focused on your finances. You have some amazing opportunities to create a lot of financial freedom. Uranus in Taurus plus Jupiter in Taurus in your second house. Like, I would be doing anything you can to create more financial freedom. This could be like learning about investments. It could be, I don't know, learning about real estate or like whatever you want to do. I don't care. We're all different, right? But I would do, if I were an Aries, I would be doing something to, create more financial independence. You have this inheritance card. I think that you are inheriting someone's gift as well. You could be receiving kind of like a person that, a person that is a gift because you stuck up for yourself. So I kind of get that feeling here. I do feel like some of you could be getting an inheritance, but again, you would know about it. I feel like you would know that a person died or something, obviously. You have the status card. Look at this. It's like acquisition and status. You could be getting with a person that raises your status. There's something here about a level up because you have left a situation or you're about to, right? Take it how it resonates. But, because you stuck up for yourself, that's what you're getting. And again, this could be a job as well. It's like if you have a job that you hate and you leave and you go get something better, then obviously same thing. You have this defense card here. It's almost like for some of you, this past person could have been very defensive, but I feel like now you're defensive. Now you have your defenses up and you're kind of like focused on the future. But pretty interesting reading here, Aries. I feel like you're moving forward. Definitely a lot of abundance coming in here as well. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your week.